Jeez, we're going to be doing our shout outs. We have a new shout out. We're going to be shouting out Elements Media Networks and the founder, Howard. They're a broadcasting company that we're going to be uploading our videos on. So you guys will be able to go to Elements Media Networks, upload the app onto your phone. You guys can check us out on Roku, all that stuff. Beautiful. BITV.
All right, so we on Instagram right there, and we on YouTube right there, recording. And
Oh, you know what? I better go get the thing for our podcast because we can't record the podcast on a Saturday damn iPad.
yeah, and then so what you guys are watching is us record our podcast that we do every Friday night for Rainier Avenue Radio, your local community radio station. So that's what you're watching. That's what we film. So every Friday night we do our podcast, and our podcast is on Rainier Avenue Radio, local radio station. And so we tape 2 shows. We record 2 shows. So we just let everybody watch while we record. You know what it is. Yep.
Okay, we're gonna shout out Rainier Avenue Radio because we're doing this for sponsors, and we're gonna shout out Howard. Those guys who use their platform for sponsors.
For the sponsors.
Elements Media Networks Solutions, that works broadcasting, and then it's Howard, the owner, the brother that owns it.
Okay.
I hooked him and dude from the radio station up, so they're gonna be doing community service work and all that kind of stuff together. But we're just gonna shout those guys out instead because
So we'll be shouting out Elements Media Networks, the founder Howard.
Elements Media Broadcasting.
Elements Media Networks Broadcasting. All right. Nice little long name.
So I had to write it down. Now these right here, these are federal stats. White people and black people. Murder 52.4, 45.3, rape 74. So we'll put those right there. Just
Okay.
so stats that we can go over and talk about.
Yeah, I
things,
had downloaded one of those charts on my phone. National stats. They almost double us in every category.
Mm-hmm.
But we're always the ones on the news with the narrative.
And getting arrested.
With Channel 7 and those guys. That is one of the whitest famous stations. Hey, that works just as good. Long as it gets fire, it's all right.
Let me go to the bathroom before we start.
Fire.
Go ahead and go get your PP on.
Yeah.
What is that, Tim, a glass one?
Yeah.
Let me see that glass one, dog.
So, you know, if you can see it, I use the tip now. So, hey, if you want to smoke with me, here you go. I'll pass it to you. You pass it back. You know what I mean? That way, some people be wetting up the blunt, I can use my.
The pretty boy. It's only pretty.
My man Damien looked me up with these. He made these
What's happening?
one of a kind.
You gotta
can't even
have
get
major
these in the
confidence
store.
in
You know what I'm
yourself to
saying?
where the dangle.
So-
Like, what's happening? Like, oh man, I know it, bro.
You know, my man Damien hooked me up. One of a kind. You can't even get these in the store. You know what I mean? So yeah. So when you pass the blunt, you know what I mean. Here you go. I don't have you wet it up. I don't have to smoke after you. I smoke off of my.
He's giving.
You know what I'm saying?
He's promoting. Let me see how it works.
I gotta, gotta let them know.
Let me see how it works. Let me see
There
how
you
it
go.
works.
Go ahead and smoke that. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
That's how it works. No,
That's how it works.
See what I mean? You see that?
I mean,
you know,
normally-
I pass it. See, oh yeah, tell him.
Yeah, because normally I use my fingers. You know, if I didn't have this, I put my lips on top of my fingers.
But what about when you passing it?
But when
What
you
do?
pass it,
Okay, what you do?
man, I just stick it in there like that.
Okay. But when you passing it to me, what you do? How you do
I
it?
just take it out.
Okay. Bam.
You know.
You know?
Just
who
like
is it-
that.
And who is this made by, if you don't mind?
This
are we
made
doing
by my
something-
guy Damien.
Damien,
He's
you
got
know
a
what I mean?
glass shop in his own garage.
Glass
you know what I
shop,
mean? He makes
Damien's glass shop. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Shout out to Damien and his glass shop. Hopefully he's watching.
Yeah. I mean, he makes custom stuff. I mean, he's got some beautiful pieces. Him and his brother, you know, they make things. This is one of a kind. You know what I mean? This is, man, one of a kind. I like that type of stuff.
Yeah, this is pretty good. What's this?
That's a wedding cake by Pilot Farms.
Okay. And where you grab this at? Where you get this?
I went down to the highway.
Oh, so you can't get this nowhere else but just there?
I went there for that. There's certain places you gotta go certain places for it.
Oh, for that shit. Okay. And this is one of the places they always
The garage door is closed into the studio. Yeah, that's one of the hot ones. Like if you go to the shop, up on,
You talking about across the street from 7-Eleven?
yeah. The one up there is to get a Smoky Point for the you know, and it's called Smoky Point for the price. You know what I'm saying?
Slide over a little bit. I thought I gave you enough room, but
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
that is. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
What's up? We back.
We back. So you know, that means my tip.
Are we
is-
doing this yet?
Here you go.
No,
Pass the
we will,
bud.
we will.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pass it the bud.
So
When we smoking on some wedding cake, you guys know I
We
like
on
the
with this?
cakes and cushions,
Wait.
man.
Are we on with
You
this?
know?
Not yet. Whenever you ready.
No, it's
We'll
whenever
start
you
that
guys
one when we start the
You know what I mean? Whatever you guys
start the
ready.
tape.
Oh, sorry, Tim.
Okay.
Are you good, bro?
No, I cut in front of them.
I try to get them to see the whole production. You know, I
I got
can't
it.
really, you know.
No, that's
I
it.
don't
That's
have
it.
all these stands and shit.
That's cool. That's cool. You got it. You got it. You got it. That's a good one.
Okay, you guys ready?
Let's get it.
Okay, we're about to start the podcast, y'all. You know, and what we're gonna talk about today is we have an FBI chart here in front of us. Okay, so ready?
Okay, we're gonna do this in 5, 4,
Starting the podcast,
3,
yo.
2.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to 2OG Smoking Weed Podcast. It's your boy Bud Margins in the house.
Mr. Good Kush 89, love smoke, baby.
Man, what's happening with you guys today? So pretty interesting week we had here in this country, you guys. And you know, we're gonna talk about several things, you know, but you know what we want to start out with today is we want to talk about this FBI chart that came out with the stats of all of these crimes committed by white people and all these crimes committed by black people. And they're the same crimes, and we're gonna talk about the percentages and why do we get into trouble like we do, and the prisons are full of African Americans.
Why are we targeted?
And why are we targeted?
You
Yes.
know, why is the news media narrative about what's going on with the black community as far as crime most of the time, and making it seem like, you know, that's where a lot of us come from and what we're about, and then they're not focusing on their numbers, you know, for that particular for their race, because their numbers almost double us in every crime statistical category.
Yeah. So I'll read one, and then Mr. Good Kush will read one, and we'll talk about them, you know? Okay, so the first one that was on the board, okay, was murder. You know? So, of course, I posted a stat the other day on Facebook that said 85% of all white people that are murdered by white people, all right? So, in the murder rate, white people are at 52.4%. Black people are at 45.3. That's a significance. I mean, that's a significance. That's a little over 7% difference.
Almost 8.
Almost, yeah. You know, and again, if you look at the economics differences, environment differences, you know, the way that white privilege is, you know, there's no reason for their murder rate to be that high. Over 50%. Over 50%.
Well, I think if you look at some, you know, this is my opinion, this is not a fact, you know what I mean? But I think if you look at like overall, like, you know, who was the ones that were taking slaves and doing the killings? I mean, during this time period, I mean, these people were taking slaves, and the men, they were taking hot knives and and castrating them. And, you know, the babies, they were bashing babies' heads up against rocks. I mean, this isn't so long ago. And even now, today, you know, you got people trying to lynch and do this. I mean, just hate a race for what? Like, what did we ever do to you? You know, like, we picked the cotton, you know what I'm saying? We made economics, we gave you a society, we set up everything
Gave you a head
basically
start.
for you, gave you a head start. You've been around the monopoly board 400 times before we even got to go once. You know what I'm saying? You got all the property, Park Place, Boardwalk, everything. You got all the stuff. Like, what did we ever do to you to make you still want to? And that goes back to that old thing. If you're religious, you know, or you just, you know what I'm saying, you believe in the Bible, it goes back to that old adage of when Cain killed Abel somewhat. And then the race line was supposed to be cursed. But now, with that being said, let's get this straight real quick, and then I'm gonna let Bud have the floor. We're not talking about all white people.
No.
Okay, we're talking about the ones that are in the system. We're talking about the ones who are wearing systemic racism. Yeah, we're talking about the ones wearing the flag and, you know, make America great again. And America, you know what I'm saying, you know, for a race, certain race of people has never been great. So, I mean, what is that saying? You know, so that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about our everyday people that we deal with, loved ones and stuff like that. We're talking about people in this system.
Yeah, yeah. And so, here you go. So the next one is, go ahead.
Well, the next one is rape. They are at 74.2%. We are
74.8.
74.8%. Look like a 2. And you know, this is 2OT spoken lead. We're serious, but you know, come on, man. You know, hey, but we're at 23%. 22.9 is basically 23%. So we're looking at 75% versus 23%. White
That's over 50% greater rate.
The Caucasian race
of rape, just in general, right? Just a greater rate, you know. Even and there are more people, but it's at a far greater rate, you know. So to me, that sign right there tells me, you know, because that's one of the things that white people used to be so afraid of, is that their women were going to be raped by some black dude, and or a black man's worst fear was to have some white woman just out of just pure jealousy, you know, just literally would say that, oh, he tried to rape me, or he raped me, or, you know, and cause a whole town to get burned down.
Mm-hmm.
And cause a
Rosewood.
yeah, you know, a whole town to get burned down. And so they've been doing it for a long time. And
you're talking about
and so
Rosewood.
we're looking at these figures because we want to show people that these figures that these states and these local people come up with and that you may see on Facebook is bullshit. These are the real figures. So even on rape, they got a 50%, they do it at a much higher clip, right? Arson. 75.2 of all arsons are committed by white folks.
Okay, let me say this real quick on that rape thing. You know, they got a human trafficking thing going on, right? You guys heard know about the human trafficking that's going on across?
Yeah, human trafficking has been going on for a long time. Yeah.
You know, I was just gonna say to that. I mean, who's doing that? I mean, it darn sure ain't no brothers doing it. So.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, so arson. So motherfucker set your shit on fire, you fuck with him. Those are, you know, and of course we see that they burn motherfuckers out, and you know, and black people are at 22.9. So then we got violent.
Well, arson, black people are at 22.9, and white people are at 75.2.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't say the percentage on the for the, and then also next one, violent crime.
Yeah.
Violent crimes. Caucasians are at 64.9, which is 65%. Blacks are at 32.8, which is 33%. I mean, hello?
We're talking about violence here. You know, the shit you're supposed to go to prison for.
These are FBI numbers. These are FBI crime statistic numbers.
Yeah, FBI crime. So now we have property crime. White people do 68.9% of all property crime. Black people do 29.2% of all property crime.
Well, you know, they own all the property, like I said, they
Well,
went around the
I mean-
monopoly board for it.
Well, all that looting and burning of the buildings and doing all that
Yeah.
shit, white folks do that kind of stuff. Black people in general don't really destroy property as, you know.
All these type of
That's
things
not
aren't really our
pretty
nature.
much our nature. We
Yeah.
don't burn things, we don't, you know, go and destroy property, pretty much not in our nature. I mean, I'm not saying that all black people are like that, but
Right.
pretty much not really. And so,
We are more of a cool, laid back,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, type of people. We are more of a loving people. We
Yeah.
were predicated on love, like, you know what I mean? Like, our people as a culture, you know what I'm saying? As a culture, we believe in the Most High. You know what I mean? And we're predicated on love. So that's just, a lot of this stuff is just, if it, see our statistics, it's usually from economics, from, you know what I'm saying, hardships. You're born into, you know what I'm saying, Third Ward, Cabrini Green projects in Chicago, you know what I'm saying, or you know what I mean, like you're born in, you know, over there in Chocolate City in D.C. down there, what you call it, Baltimore, which is, you know what I'm saying, you're born into environments to where, man, brothers ain't got no choice. It's already stacked against us. They ain't got no choice but to try to sell dope or pimp or, you know what I mean, for the most part. I mean, because not everybody is going to be like, hey, man, you can do it. You get a job and work. Come on, man. You know?
Our greatest leaders was dealers and pimps before they even became
Yeah,
who they
so
was.
a lot of times they're just doing what they gotta do, man, to make a nice, you know what I'm saying, to make a dollar, to live as to what's being flaunted in their faces.
yeah.
Every day in TV, what's being flaunted in our face?
Money,
you know what I'm
and
saying?
violence.
Every day.
Why-
Money and what?
Violence.
Thank you. Every day.
Every single day. And then get mad because you want
Farrah
the money.
Fawcett.
You know what I'm saying? And again, these stats are from the FBI. We ain't making them up. You know, these are real stats. You know, they're not messed with in any way. You know, they go by the actual cases that
All
are
the
actually
cases
done.
across America are
Right,
reported.
are
Everything
reported.
is kept record of. Every single case.
And then they have a section called other assaults, right? Well, white people lead in that category too. Of 70.4% of other assaults, that means other than murder, rape, violent crime, which, oh my God, I don't know how those other three aren't violent, but the violent crime.
We're at
that was-
27%.
Yeah, you know, 27.3%. Now, drug abuse. Woo! 72.5% of all drug abusers are white. 25.7% of all drug abusers are black.
73% and 26%, basically. Let's round it out. You know
Well,
what
it
I
can't
mean?
be 73 and 26. That's 101.
But still, 72.5 and 25 and
Yeah,
25.7. I
Yeah.
mean, you know.
So what, you know, the thing about it is that 73% and 26%, you know, you got 98% of it. So you trying to tell me all the other races only 2%? I'll kind of find a problem with that. But I think what they're doing is just between black people and white people.
I mean, because that's what
And-
this is all about
right,
anyway.
right.
You know what I'm saying? We're not. You know
They
what I'm
don't
saying?
really keep
yeah, you
stats with you know, with the Chinese and the Mexicans and stuff.
And all those guys, like, you know what I'm saying, love them. You know what I'm saying? All those other cultures and races love you. But here's the deal: you weren't bought into America the way we were bought into America. You know what I'm saying? We basically built this mug. You know what I
We
mean? And so for the
basically
men
built
to
this
be
motherfucker.
put in the position, the black men that we get put into, and the war on black men, you know what I'm saying, the unfair lockups and all this stuff, and the crime, making sure everybody gets a number, every black man, you know, all that kind of stuff, that crooked stuff they've been doing, trying to keep the black man back. And
Not trying, keeping us back,
right.
beating us down.
So
You know, and so just to show. Now we're gonna fuck with Vegas a little bit. Gambling. 50.6% of gambling is done by white folks. 31.9% of all gambling is done by black folks. Sure, a lot of that has to do with economics, but you know, the rest are done by the Asian people.
okay. They get their gamble on. Shout out to my Asian
They
community.
do.
You know, some love smoke to my Asian
You know.
community, getting their gamble on.
They do.
All right, and then there's vandalism. There's 73% Caucasian, 24% white. I mean black.
Black. Yeah. Wow. Vandalism. So so we're talking about all this looting that was first tried to put on, like we were the ones doing all the looting and vandalism and all that, when stats show and prove that that the vandalism and the looting and all that stuff, doing all this time that's been going on, it's been done by white people. But yet somehow the narrative keeps turning around to seem as
What do you,
if
when you
are
watch the
ones
news,
that
what are you
doing
seeing?
it.
When you watch the news, what are you seeing? You know what I'm saying? It keeps getting turned around. The narrative is always on some BS. Always. The narrative is always tampered.
They can't say that they were just wrong shooting this dude that we 7 times, and we've all seen the video, and yet somehow they're trying to figure out a way out. Oh, he had a warrant for his arrest. Oh, first it was they said he had a knife, but once they could prove that, because the guy lived, of course, but once they could prove that he didn't have a knife because the guy lived,
Right.
then the narrative changed to where now they're trying to say, oh, he had a warrant for his arrest, he did this and he did this, and oh, he was beating this lady. And that's what it really came down to, and they came to, and it was none of those scenarios.
Yeah.
It was they came to see about 2 people fighting. He wasn't one of the people fighting.
And I'll say this, if you're listening to us, and right now, this is not about like bashing a culture or anybody else or anything like that. This is just about really the facts of
Showing the facts.
We're showing the facts, and we just want to show the real discrepancy and real inequality.
And that
You know
we
what I
should
mean?
be the ones afraid, not white folks.
Right. I mean, shit, I'm afraid when I drive. I don't want no
we
cops
should be
stopping
the
me.
ones afraid, not white folks. And we be walking around like, I ain't scared of no white folks, and you know what I'm saying? And we really shouldn't be.
You know, it's things have got to change. I mean, and I think all the other races have got to ban. If you know what I'm saying, if you're honestly for change, and you're honestly, because I mean, us as a people, I think most people that know us, that know black people, know us on a cool level. We cool like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're laid back. We like to work and get our work done, but we're cool like that. I mean, why do you think all your kids and everybody pretty much copies our culture, our swag? You know what I mean? I saw a kid today, a white kid today. I took a picture of him in the parking lot. The boy had his pants sagging, had some Jordans on, had his hat on backwards, the whole, come on, man. I mean, everything we do is emulated. Everything we do.
Had his tongue out like this, with some Jordans on.
So, from our music, I mean, to the way we dress, to the way we talk, to the way, everything we do, man. Our swag is trying to be emulated, to the way we play sports, to the way we sing, to the way we dance, everything. And a lot of us, and those that are in that business world, and those that are in the corporate world, you already see what we can do. That's why they try to lock us up in the first place, because you already know.
And if our vote don't, and if our vote doesn't matter, why are you so hard trying to take away our voting rights? Why are you so afraid to count us? Why are you so quick to try to disarm us? Because you guys are not afraid of us. We should be afraid of white people.
Because right now, we got, put it like this, they have more of the resources, right? They have another community that has the money that's backing them. So to speak, there's another community that has the money that's backing them. Who controls the national trust or finances? All right, so I'll just leave it at that. You do your homework on that, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's another crew that backs this crew in order to sustain the systematic racism and slavery. Okay, and that other crew is worth $200 trillion. That other crew is part of the 3 families that have most of the world's wealth. And when you have that kind of power, that kind of influence, you're not going to be talked about.
Google that shit just to make
Google
sure.
it. You can Google it. You can Google it. You can Google it.
These are our opinions, you guys, and you guys can always Google this stuff.
Yeah, you can. You know what I'm saying? These are. You know what I'm saying? This is my research from other people's research that are qualified. So you can research it yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's information that is easy obtainable. you know. Hey, listen, you guys, real quick, I want to shout out to Mobility TV. I want to shout out to Elements Media Networks and Broadcasting and the founder Howard.
Shout out Howard, Elements Media Broadcasting Network. You know, love smoke to you, baby.
You know, we're going to be posting our videos up on their platform so you guys can upload Elements Media Networks Broadcasting on your phones and check out our stuff like on Roku and BITV, things like that, which are all on the Elements Media Networks Broadcasting. So check them out, you guys, all right? It's your boy, Bud Barges of 20J. Smoke away,
Mr.
baby.
Good Kush 89, love smoke, baby.
All right, you guys. So, you know, back to what we were talking about, right? So, I'm gonna read another stat here, which, you know, this goes to. So we're talking about weapons. 60.7% of all weapons charges and crimes committed by weapons are committed by white folks.
60.7%, 37.4%
Are committed by
by black folks, African Americans, Hebrews, Jews.
Right? And that really mostly, and that would even be lower if it wasn't for what? Environment and circumstances of being forced into poverty and the ability to try to do whatever you gotta do to feed your family. And a lot of these are murder, the violent crime, the drug abuse.
Mhm.
Those things are all really, you know, really triggered from environments of just pure poverty.
Come on, man.
You know?
If you were put, you could be a sheep. But if you're put in a den with wolves, if you don't try to become a wolf, guess what? You're gonna get eaten. You know what I'm saying? So it's a situation where, you know, you put certain group of, you know, black people in an economic hole, stack the odds against them. Well, they have no choice. Some of them in the areas they're in and where they're at, they gotta become, you know, wolves. They gotta eat. You know what I mean? And so that's where those statistics come from. Just trying to survive, man.
Yeah.
You know?
They make you into a wolf and get mad because you're a wolf. You know what I'm saying? It's absurd, you know, when they act like they don't know what's happening and still they lead in all of these categories that they try to always make the narrative as if African Americans are the innovators of all of these categories, right? And it's just not true, right? We learning from them. So now let's take this one. Hoeing. Prostitution.
Hoeing, baby.
You know, they're 58.6% of all prostitution crimes.
Some white boys be pimping. You know, you want to think, you know, want to portray it and put it on the brothers. That's not really how we're raised. Think about it. We're come from sisters. You see what I'm saying? That is not really how we are raised to a degree. I'm just gonna be 100 now. I can't talk about that other race, but that other race I know was, you know what I'm saying, because we see what they did to the other races' women. To women, you know what I'm saying, what they did to black women in slavery and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So I'm already saying. So what I'm saying is when they be thinking, you know, oh, I'm gonna give me a white boy and all that stuff, man, this shoot, they be worse than the brothers. All the way.
Oh, and then they be embarrassed because they be thinking that they leaving the brothers to get away from the violence when they go to the white boys be getting their ass whooped.
You pay a price for that little economic comfortability you think you got.
Secrets behind closed doors. Right? Now, we're gonna really hit, but this last one, man, this is the one that we already, I mean, goddamn, sex offenses. Lord, they 76% of all sex offense crimes are committed
By
by
whites.
white people. 21.5% are committed by black people.
These are FBI crime statistics.
FBI.
Now, why? You ask yourself, why does every one of these corny news stations Where everybody has a channel 4, everybody has a channel 5, and everybody has a channel 7, and everybody has a channel 13. Why is the narrative always focused on blacks and the black community and what's going on and the negativity? Why is it always that? Always, always, always. Why? Even in sports, why is it always try to focus us and put us in a negative light? But then, like in the NFL, you know what I'm saying? You try to put all these other dudes in a positive light. I was watching today the NFL Network. You tried to make it seem like all the stars were, but we know who's carrying the league. I mean, come
Right.
on, man. Let's be real, man.
Right.
You take all the NFL. You take your best. You take 22 of your best white boys. Put them up against 22 of the best brothers, and let's have a game, and let's see who come out on top with officiating. That's going to be not nothing that's
Black officials.
Yeah. Nothing that's, you know what I'm saying, got some outside influence on it. You know what I'm saying? No. You already know what's
Play the
happening.
game.
Come on, man.
Right.
That's why there's most of us on the field.
Right. So
I mean, I'm not trying to be, but am I just being stating facts? I mean, isn't that reality? Don't you just see it? I mean, I'm not speaking nothing that's not, you know what I'm saying? Look at the league. Look at the percentages, do the percentages on the leagues. You know, we ain't got to talk about the NBA, but do the percentages on the league.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Come on. And the one league that probably has a different, better, or another percentage, but look, they let a lot of Dominicans and stuff in that league, and a lot of Cubans, you know, in baseball.
and they black too.
Exactly. So,
They're black. They just got left in the Caribbean.
but you
instead
know,
of
come on,
over
man.
here.
You know what it is. So
Were they
it's
better
like-
off being left in the Caribbean, or would they have been better off if they'd have been slaves here? I don't know. Shit, a slave's a slave no matter where you at.
That's a monkey in the room.
You know?
For real.
But you guys, we got like 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. So the thing of it is that we want to make sure that you guys understand that all of this narrative control and narrative creating stories about black people and how they react and all these warrants for their arrest every time this or that, you know, it's never going to be where they can say, yeah, we murdered the motherfucker. So what?
Now think about it. This was
Never gonna
happening
do that.
if black men were doing this to
To
white people.
folks.
It'd be a hell all break loose. Oh my God! You see, that's the type of fucking bullshit ass country we live in.
Yeah.
And that's what has to break. This whole system, this whole chain has to be broken. All of it has to be broken and redone correctly.
Yeah, because what's the point? What's the point of abiding to a contract? You know, what's the point of caring who the Republican or the Democrat, which is going to be our next section? What the fuck do we
It don't
care
even
about
matter.
a Democrat or Republican?
It don't even matter.
All right, so we're going to talk about it on the next section, all right? So we got like 1 minute left. So in this last minute, again, we want to shout out to who?
The founder, Howard, from Elements Media Networks Broadcasting.
And also, Mobility TV!
Mobility TV. Boom, 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 boom. Yo, love smoke, baby, to all y'all.
Shout out to OG Smoking Weed, my boy right here, Mr. Good Kush 89.
That's right, I say it again, love smoke, baby.
And your boy Bud Margins. And you guys, guess what? Smoke this motherfucking weed every single day, cause this shit is crazy out here.
I'm a copy Nate Dogg. Hey. Smoke weed every day.
And then blow that shit the fuck out. Alright? Alright, you guys. Next segment coming. Much love, much peace, much happiness. I'll see you in a second.
Love smoke. That's 127 million segment down.
I'm calling 911 a long time ago.
Can't you see how late they reacted?
They don't come when they want.
Bro, I can just put another chair on this side. You can put yours over here, bro. You can put yours on this chair.
Who?
You, that one over here.
Which one?
That one.
This voice recording?
I don't know. What do you mean?
This is recording our show.